We're back. It's your movie review man with a special guest. It's me, Jeff Johnson, and
Claude here.
And our very special guest, Jeffrey Johnson, the second. That's right, it's the Jeffs. And once again, we have Jeffrey on the show, our resident expert on all things superheroes. And video games, we cover video games, but today, all things superheroes. And the superhero show we're reviewing today is
Invincible.
Invincible. It's pretty hot these days. It's got the entire internet abuzz. And so, Claude, give us a little background for the audience about the animated film Invincible.
So Invincible is the animated series, which is on Amazon and is adapted from Robert Kirkman's comic book by the same name. We are following the character of Mark Grayson, who's a 17-year-old going through a lot of 17-year-old type of angst, except for one thing. His father happens to be the most powerful superhero on the planet. And at around 17, he is supposed to eventually develop his powers. He's hoping to get his powers. And we're watching this show because, ta-da, he gets his powers. But around the time he gets his powers, we're introduced to a world where he has to, become a hero. But at that same time, and I guess I can't say this, without giving away a spoiler. But basically, for mysterious reason, Mark's father, Omni-Man, ends up killing the superhero team, which is, basically their version of the Justice League. So we are left sort of like with a teenage angsty show, but it definitely has a nasty sting when Omni-Man kills their version of the Justice League, called the Guardians of the Globe. And it sets up the story.
So Claude has set up the story and spoiled the first pilot episode for you, but it is a series. So it does continue on from there if you hadn't already heard that. And so now it's time for us to give our ratings for what we think about basically season one. It's a Netflix release, so they dropped all the episodes simultaneously. So just about everybody who gets into it, and I think you'll hear from my review and yours. Once you get into it, you're gonna watch the whole thing through. If you dig it, you're going to and get hooked. You're gonna watch the whole thing through. So my rating on it, out of 4 fists, we try to give 4 fists. If it's the greatest, I give 3. I give 3 fists. I think it's pretty amazing. Yeah, they're shocked. They think more. But I give it 3 fists. I enjoyed it. What we didn't say about it is an adult animated series. Let's be plain and clear about this. It's on Netflix and not in the movie theaters. If it was in the movie theaters, it'd be rated R. I'm not sure if they call it TV 17 plus or whatever. It is an adult program, not for babies. And I do think it's great. And the detailed review I'll give later, as well as we'll see why these guys' reaction is so strong. So Jeffrey, you gave a strong reaction. What's your fist rating?
So as we were setting up the review, I was thinking I was gonna give it a perfect score. But for me, the story-wise, I have almost no complaints about the show, except is one character I think takes away from it a little bit. But
okay,
I'm gonna give it. You said out of 4 stars, right? So
that's right, 4 fists.
Oh, I was thinking you did 3 out of 5.
So I gave 3 out of 4 fists. So yeah.
Okay, that's
so
I'm gonna give it 3.5. I know you don't like that time.
All right, very good. 3.5 fists out of 4. Claude, what say you?
Okay, I'm gonna give it 4.
All right,
I'm gonna give it 4.
Claude gives it the highest 4 for 4. So you've heard this. It's got high ratings. If you haven't already seen it, you probably want to know what has made this show get such high ratings for us. If you have seen it already, you probably want to say, hey, what do these guys think about it? What do they enjoy? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Because we love talking about film and television series. We know you do too. So stay with us from after the break for our extended review of Invincible, the Netflix series. We'll be right back. So we're back. Correction number one, you don't look for this show on Netflix. Jeffrey got it wrong. It's on Prime. Amazon Prime is bringing you this series. They still did drop it. And did they drop it all at once? Not,
I think they dropped the first couple episodes, but then it was week by week. So
that's
yeah.
true. They did. They dropped
drop
episode 1 and 2 perhaps at once, but now, of course, it's fully available on Amazon Prime, and we're reviewing Invincible. So if you like reviews of shows like this, we have a series that we have set aside just for superheroes, superhero films, and superhero streaming release series. Look below. And look at the end. Look at the end of our show for links to our reviews of our other superhero shows. And if you like superheroes and you like video games, there's no place better to go look at Jeffrey's YouTube site, King JJ. It's easy to find on YouTube. So shout out to Jeffrey's site for more insightful, fun conversations about superheroes, both in the video game environment, streaming environment, or film. So back to our review. You guys gave 4 and 3.5 more than me reviews on Invincible. What made it let's let our guests go first. What made it a 3.5 for you, Jeffrey?
I was going to give it perfect. It was gonna be like your rating, Claude. It was going to be a perfect, but I just feel like the way that this is a no spoiler.
Right, no spoilers. We're gonna do our best to not spoil the series for you while still drawing you in.
The way one character reacts to something takes away from like some things going on, the things that are going on, kind of.
Okay.
But if I just ignored that, I would. If that wasn't in there, I would just give that like a perfect score. Because other than that, I have 0 complaints about the entire show.
Very good. Claude, you did give it a perfect score. What put Invincible to the 4 fists up movie review men rating?
Well, there are a couple of reasons. One of the things I really liked about the show was the fact that I think Robert Kirkman was very confident in terms of the tropes of comic books, and he played a lot around with a lot of things I thought were cool, and he definitely just found clever ways of subverting it where I could just sort of, even things that seemed like very familiar, he found an original approach to them, and then when he would lead you a particular way for an expectation, he just pulled the rug out from under you. And I like the whole setup because, a bunch of things about the setup. It sort of answers questions I had in the back of my head, sort of like, okay, what if a character like Superman became a father? And the whole character of Invincible, he's basically, I sort of see him as a superpowered Peter Parker, basically that when he rises to become a hero, doing that while being a teenager, although you think it's going to be a cool idea, and I'm sure teenagers, we were wishing we could do some stuff like this. But if the stuff actually happens, there's a lot of this really sucks that comes with it, And, take it, going to Spider-Man comparison, Spider-Man has enhanced powers and things, so when he's trying to juggle something, he definitely does it better than any human can because he's stronger than them. But even if the character like Invincible is Superman and could instantly fly somewhere, he's still going to be late for his classes. He's still going to miss shifts at work. He's still going to have problems with the girlfriend. So all the stuff that he was hoping for was not all cracked up. And, again, Spider-Man's stories sort of deal with this, but this still found an interesting, fresh way to deal with similar stuff. I also, I just sort of like the way that Robert Kirkman just seemed to sort of play around with conventions, and you're trying to anticipate because we've read enough comic books. We're like, I think we know where we're going with the story, and he's just like, psych, no, he's not going to go this way,
Yeah, it's a
Or
very
maybe something happened to so-and-so and that's why they're acting that. No. And he has a very credible excuse and you're like, damn, I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker, and he backed it up.
It definitely had it was very aware of all comic books around it. It included characters that, tip their hats to characters that you've seen before. And then it also gave you lots of different kinds of comic book storylines and like you said, some of them tropes, but some of them just like they were going in the directions that you've seen other characters go before that can make their twist. First, you were given a Justice League type set of characters right off the bat at the beginning of the story. A team that works well together of superpowered heroes, but they're kind of Justice League and also like Avengers Assemble. They had a little way of indicating to each other that they were supposed to go and do their heroic thing. And then later, their being assembled heroic thing turned up to be a setup that led them to their doom. You find yourself looking at a lot of the characters, as I mentioned, and comparing them, saying, well, this kind's like some of the other characters that I've enjoyed before. This one's like that one. Look, this one's like that one. And it's like this one, but then it has a difference to them. So I like that as well. And Jeffrey, Claude brought up the fact that he liked the fact that it was What If Superman Had a Family, but one of your favorite Superman series is a Superman story where he has a family. Is that a part that appealed to you in this show as well?
Oh yes, it definitely did.
For me, I'll tell you that really stood out along that family perspective is the character who plays the mother of the title character Invincible. She's voiced over by Sandra Oh, Debbie Grayson. That was just the most outstanding wife of a Superman character and then later mother of a superpowered character that I've seen in any story. So even as you're saying, he twists some of these stories, it gives you what you thought was coming and it turns. This is one I've never seen before. Maybe it's out there, but even the Superman with the wife and kids series that Jeffrey likes so much, I have not seen a Lois Lane character or Mary Jane, Peter Parker's girlfriend, play off of the superhero as well as in this show. It was just outstanding. And in fact, while I'm watching this, and you know how I do, both of you know how I do, I'm trying to guess at, well, okay, this is how they're going to resolve this scene. This is how they're going to resolve this scene. And I'm that guy. I've said this in the show before.
Sometimes you guess it right.
Yeah, sometimes I get it right. Other times I'm just a guy talking in the theater. I'm sorry. If you heard someone talking in the theater and they were annoying you, it was probably me. And not because I'm spoiling it. I don't say, yeah, he's about to get shot because I saw the movie before. That would be wrong. I say he's about to get shot because I'm a know-it-all. And I know he's about to get shot.
That's something I would do. No, just playing. I'm just playing.
So in this movie, what I'm trying to tell you is the Debbie Grayson character, Invincible's mama, married to the Omni-Man, dad of Invincible, a superpowered flying around. Go ahead.
Nolan Grayson.
Otherwise known as Nolan Grayson, again, another, preposterous, they play with the game, the preposterous, no one notices. No one's figured it out. He flies back and forth and he's workmanlike. He flies back and forth to his backyard in the suburbs every day and no one's figured it out yet. The postman hasn't seen the superhero flying in and out of the backyard because they're a perfect loving family. He takes jaunts to Europe to go get the favorite meal that his wife likes and flies right back in time for dinner. No one figures these things out. He's still Mr. Grayson. But the point I want to make about Sandra Oh's character, just I really want to emphasize this. I've never seen such a strong-willed woman, wife character who matches up to her superhero husband. And then later, when her child becomes superpowered, she handles him like a mama. And not just like any kind of mama. Like, he breaks bad and acts bad like teenagers do sometimes. Just sometimes teenagers do. Fictional super teenagers, not any other teenagers. Just fictional teenagers do. Sandra Oh's character, just like she totally handled him. She made like the most perfect mom kind of comeback to a teenager who really could, if he went on a tantrum, tear the whole house to shreds and rip it into little pieces. And she really does, in her relationship, in her loving relationship with her husband, faces up to him about, look, this is what we have to do as a couple. This is how we need to handle X. She's an equal partner without being superpowered. And I want to get your reaction to that. When I was watching, and that stood out to me. I really, when I was saying I usually like to guess the end, I was really trying to guess the end. So it's not a spoiler if I tell you I tried to guess and I was wrong, right? That's not a spoiler. I tried to guess the end. And my guess was that this character is so strong, she's going to defeat the superpowered character with some really loving human thing. Because she has no superpowers. She's not going to punch him. She's not going to laser eye him. She's not going to reach in her back pocket and pull out kryptonite to calm him down. She's not going to use some secret potion. She's not going to say it's getting, the sun is right low on the horizon, Hulk. Let me rub your hand and turn you back. Yeah. None of that is going to happen. My expectation was that she was just going to drop something so poignant, so perfect, so human that would just break his heart and the whole audience. And I figured that would happen. That, spoiler, that isn't it. Something else happens.
Yeah.
But I thought it was going to be that good. And I wanted to get your reaction to that. I thought that Sandra Oh's performance as the wife of Omni-Man, the superpowered guy, and the mother was just, I haven't seen it in other shows.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it was just amazingly written because, the thing is, she is a loving wife. She is a loving mother. And then she has to go from balancing, how do you balance a household when you have eventually two superpowered beings there? Then she has to, in essence, become a detective to find out something. And then her characters went through so many different range of emotions. And the thing is, she's not a reporter. She's not like Lois Lane, where she goes into some high risk, doing some stupid crap so that Superman has to save her or whatever. I mean, she basically is a mother, and everything she does is 100% in, just integrity in terms of who she is.
Right.
But
her integrity is like super powerful.
Yeah. And because of the situation she is, that's the way that she is powerful. And you have a voiceover that where someone has to go into different levels. Being in awe of her husband, being disappointed at some of the stuff the husband says, appealing to his humanity, or trying to feed his humanity, being there for Mark. Mark screws up. Being encouraging when Mark, in essence, she's like a bunch of different characters, and everything is convincing. And the way you are describing praise, I'm wondering why you didn't give it 4 stars, but go ahead.
That's fair. You guys can keep picking numbers. Jeffrey, you had 3.5. Where else were those 3.5s? What other things did you have that made it a 3.5, and why I'm wrong for making it a 3? What else was good?
Well, so I agree with what both of you had to say about the show. I liked Debbie. She was very cool. Like, I do tend to like, sometimes I like there's some characters that aren't the superhero or supervillain that you like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, if we're going Marvel or DC, like Alfred, Lois. I like this character a lot more than I expected to. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. And also, like what you said, Claude, Mark is basically Peter Parker, but stronger. Like, he's literally like Peter Parker, but stronger. So I was I like the sense of responsibility that he had to do. And sometimes Omni-Man will say stuff about responsibility. I like that because that reminds me of a similar web-slinging hero that I don't remember the name of very much well. So, but
yeah, right. No, that's great. Here's another thing to challenge myself for why I only gave it 3 stars. This cast is bonkers. this cast, the cast is incredible. The performances are great, but you're going to have to go back and look it up on the internet, audience, to actually see how bonkers this is, because their acting, their voiceover acting is so strong that you're not going to recognize everybody. Now, I will say that J.K. Simmons' voice is distracting to me. I just have to say that off the top. You will recognize his voice, and you're going to be saying, I can't give over the fact that J.K. Simmons is selling us life insurance and car insurance on television, and he's like always he's always like the principal in some film. The hero of the show gets in trouble, gets sent down to the office, and then J.K. Simmons like puts him on punishment. So watching him as this muscle-bound superhero, it was a little distracting. I like him. I like his voice. His performance was excellent, but it was just
I thought that was the reason why it was perfect, though, because I mean, like for those reasons. But then there are other roles where he sort of played somebody who you thought you could trust, and then he had a very nasty bite to him. In Whiplash, He plays this music teacher who's basically like, yeah, he pushes the musicians to greatness, but he is basically a teacher from hell because he does all types of dirty psychological fighting. He played in Oz, he played that guy who befriended, the person who we were sympathetic with. Oz takes place in the prison.
That's it.
And then dun dun dun. No, you should not trust J.K. Simmons. But so yeah,
he's starting to get typecast
as the father. I thought it was inspired, casting.
Yeah, he's starting to get typecast of twisting from the good guy.
Part of you also wants to imagine he's the insurance guy, and you can trust him, until a certain, but it adds to who the character is.
Sure. You're gonna say more of that, Jeffrey? Jeffrey says Jeffrey just knows him because of the surprise role he plays in Spider-Man: Far From Home. That he returns as, and well, it's not the last time he returns as J. Jonah Jameson, the barking protagonist to Spider-Man. So yeah, so I just wanted to rattle down the list of just what a bonkers awesome cast this is, because you're gonna have to look it up, ladies and gentlemen. You're gonna have to look it up on the internet. You'll be amazed. They do such excellent acting that you're not gonna recognize their voice. So we already covered that Sandra Oh, again, is playing the most deep and profound significant other of the Superman type character that we've seen in any movie or animated series. I think we can agree on that. It's just not written like that for that character, for anyone else to play this type of character. And Sandra Oh is playing this, and she crushes it. Wife of the superpowered superhero, and her humanity and her relationship with this person is her superpower. And then mom of the new emerging superhero, and again, like you see in the bumper stickers, my superpower is a mom. Hands down. There's plenty of other things to watch this movie for, but Sandra Oh playing a no power having wife and mom character who is powerful, excellent performance. J.K. Simmons is at the center of this entire season 1 as Omni-Man. We've spoiled a little bit about it to you. It's almost worth it though, ladies and gentlemen, because we actually know people who didn't watch the whole pilot series. Ladies and gentlemen, watch the entire pilot. Claude gave it 4, Jeff gave it 3, Jeffrey gave it 3.5, and I got 3 not for nothing. Don't watch the whole thing.
You know how they do it. You know how they do it in comic books. You got to watch the credits. Watch the credits.
I'm going to give episode 1 a perfect score.
Jeffrey gives perfect score to episode 1.
Okay. It completely threw me off guard, had chills going down my spine, and I was scared at the end. Like, I was like, you don't do that in the first episode.
Yes. Back to what Claude was saying. That's right. It's not something that you expect for the first episode. They take it to the nth degree. Please do not watch this thing and then shut it off early. Shout out to Big Brother and Uncle, my big brother, his uncle, Brian, who didn't watch the whole thing. And then we got him to watch the whole thing. He'll be back on. He'll get me back later. Watch the whole thing. Watch the whole first episode, all the way through the credits. But look, I'll just get in the cast here. Zazie Beetz is the girlfriend. Zazie Beetz is this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just gonna cover the name droppings. Then I'm gonna come back to characters who maybe you don't recognize as well, but do awesome roles. So Zachary Quinto, you'll know him for a lot of different roles, including he's in the Star Trek series as he's the new Spock. He plays Robot. Mark Hamill.
Mark Grayson's played by Stephen Yeun, who was in The Walking Dead. He plays.
In fact, go on. And we got a couple of Walking Dead appearances.
There actually, if you look at the cast, there are a number of Walking Dead in here. So Mr. Kirkman has basically just given a lot of work to people in his other universe. I think Sonequa Martin-Smith is in there.
That's correct.
She was I'm trying to remember who she played.
I think she's the great ghost.
I mean, it's one thing for movies to stuff a cast full of stars, but to stuff voiceover talent full of stars, this definitely is like it's like the James Cameron of voice acting. I mean, he just put every major star into everything.
Every major star in there just to throw in their voice. And again, they do such excellent performances. You're not necessarily going to recognize their voice because they're not trying to have you remember them. They're just trying to crush these characters. So yes, Sonequa Martin Green is the Green Ghost. Is a character we given earlier. Lenny James. Lenny James is again another one from The Walking Dead you brought up. He plays Darkwing. Again, you may or may not recognize him because I always like him. I always wonder if Brits and Australians and New Zealand people are making fun of us when they totally capture our American accent. I mean, we're so American-centric here in America. We're like, I don't get it. What do you mean he's not using an accent? This dude talks like this all the time. He's just pretending to sound like you. Are you sure he's not mocking you? Are you sure? We Americans, we would never think it was mocking us. We just think that they're using perfect English. So yeah. He's a Londoner, a very Londoner, and once again, not playing a Londoner, playing Darkwing, the Batman type character. And we have Reginald Vell Johnson is in there playing the school principal. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, all the way back to Family Matters, and is in this. It's just this place is chock full, and I know I'm skipping big names that folks in the crowd like.
Well,
Digimon Hanzo, the Martian Emperor.
Star Wars universe, you got Mark Hamill playing the tailor.
I was getting
Speaking
to it.
Of which, when we say
I'm
Mark
sorry.
Hamill,
Sorry.
Luke Skywalker or animated Joker?
Exactly. Jeffrey has a hard time trying to decide because Mark Hamill has such a significant animated voiceover career.
Yeah.
And which would you like him better as? That's a tough choice. Which you like him better? You got to make a call. Is he better Joker or is he better Luke Skywalker?
It's like, okay, voice. I'm more impressed with his voice as Joker.
Okay.
But I think he does great for Luke Skywalker too.
Very good. Like I said, Digimon Hanzo is the Martian Emperor. I can't even remember. I didn't watch that and say, wow, that's Digimon Hanzo. Michael Dorn plays Battle Beast. Okay. This cast is just I'm skipping people. There's too many people to cover.
There's too many names. There's too many names, but amazing voiceover cast.
Amazing voice. John Hamm is a throwaway at the very first 2 minutes of the pilot.
A little bit of a throwaway though, because actually what's really interesting, his character, he plays the security guard at the White House, and he gets out of he's a security guard who's making fun of his friend because he's getting out of supervillain training, but he's telling a story about how he's how he's a father. He had a son-in-law. No, not son-in-law, a foster son who is giving him a lot of trouble. And
when I say throwaway, I mean they give him such a bit part for such a big actor, and he crushes it, and then that's all you're going to get of him. That's what I mean by that.
It's a two little episode thing, but it has, in a way, a complete little story arc, which is a really interesting foil to the father-son story that we're being set up for later on.
Seth
So
Rogen makes two
it
appearances.
was a real tiny nugget because, like you said, it was a throwaway, but it was a little bit of a nugget. You know, it was.
The cat. I'm not done. I'm gonna have to keep a couple in here because then I'll segue it back to talking about the review. Seth Rogen is in there, and he sounds like Seth Rogen, and he acts silly. But again, that gives you the flavor of this film too, because it's an adult animated superhero thing. So they're gonna get bloody, and they're gonna curse, and they're gonna cover serious topics, and then they're also going to be silly and silly. And so Seth gets in there for some silliness. Mahershala Ali, who's awesome all the time, is awesome again. I won't spoil that with you. I will just remind you that if you recognize this Mahershala's voice and you wonder whether this will be a significant or insignificant character, the spoiler is this Mahershala, he's going to be significant, and we'll leave it at that. The cast is bonkers, just chock loaded for an animated series. It's amazing. I think the internet's losing its mind over the show. I think they're going a little bit too far about how awesome it is, but it is awesome, no question about it. And should I move my 3 up? Maybe I might be able to twist my arm and move my rating up. I like the Maori twins.
Add the 0.5.
Those are my favorites.
Oh,
Yeah.
First off, the fact that they're not twins is awesome. And that's not a spoiler. Watch the show and figure it out for yourself. They call them the Maori twins. They're not twins. And as you come to realize that they're not twins and realize that these big blue muscle head weapon shooting, blow up some stuff, look like twins guys. And it turns out it's really one guy who's also super genius and has learned how to clone himself. So the way he survives as a villain is he just keeps building a cloning machine from scratch because he's that smart. He builds a cloning machine from scratch and makes a new one of himself. And to make sure he doesn't have a rivalry with himself,
I'm better than you.
Right. So to make sure he doesn't have a rivalry with himself, he brainwashes himself every time so he can't remember which one's the original. It's just genius. It's comic book genius. It's like it's taking every comic book story you've read before and then redoing them.
After watching the Clone Wars, I think the clones deserve some more respect than getting brainwashed like that.
You like that? You like that? You think that's excellent brainwashing techniques? So just a very smart show. I think maybe that's a key thing to talk about this series. If you're a big comic book head, it's a smart series, right? Where and maybe that's why I gave it a 3, because at the moment I'm not grabbing the few things that they didn't get like that I like perfectly. You tried to push me before. It's going to come to me. There's a reason why. It's smart, but not perfectly smart. It's like what do you want me to give them? An A-?
I wanted to give it a 4, but
you got something that's cringeworthy to you, but you don't want to spoil. I can't actually remember why it's not a 4. But it's great. It's incredibly smart. It's grown folk. And since I'm grown, he's just made it to grown. It's okay for us to watch and enjoy it worry-free. As long as we remind people, do not have your children watching it.
Yeah, do not watch it with little children. No.
But we're living in an age now.
Not with little children. You can't.
Yeah, but we're living in an age now. I think that's worth pointing out. You know, that we're fully into. I mean, there's been animation of all kinds, forever. But it feels like we're really in a golden age now, where truly messages can be told in all forms of media in an animated format and accepted for what they are. So, which is to say, we haven't ruined children's animation. 3D computer generated animation did not did not kill two-dimensional animation. It just didn't do it. Two-dimensional drawn things, simplistically drawn painted things are still in. Adult animation didn't kill youth animation, and in the flip side, youth animation doesn't make adult animation silly anymore. It's just not silly. It's clearly just another form of storytelling, I think. And even if you're doing it like we're doing now, on something that seems totally entrenched in a youthful environment, which is superheroes with flying capes from imaginary worlds, who even look exactly like your previous superheroes, who look just like Batman and just like Superman and just like Hercules and just like that. Even in those stories, of course, can, in this case, do tell adult stories or tell stories in an adult way that's sophisticated and smart for adults to watch. So in that sense, you know, Invincible, for every single comic book lover out there who's grown now and you can handle a rated R story, and it's even that, it's not even like rated R, like, well, I was gonna say because it's harsh, but yeah, I guess it is harsh. Okay, it is harsh. It is harsh. I was gonna say it's not harsh. Yeah, it is harsh. You can't handle harsh if you just watching these. If you want to just want to read Archie's as a grown person, you know. Well, then
here's a little Easter egg. Each time there's a new episode, I'm Invincible. Oh my gosh, all this blood all over the screen.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, yes.
That part you guys are gonna have to explain to me. That part's him trying to be too clever. Every time he says his name, they throw the credit up and they splash blood on the screen.
They're trying to push the
rating.
They're trying to push the rating. Okay.
But you know what? It could be gimmicky, but it isn't, because you sort of know that it's coming, but you're still surprised until the very last minute when the reference comes up, because they have because it's not like he just says, "Oh, I'm," you know. The way that they introduce Invincible is a bunch of different ways. Sometimes someone is just making a sentence, and Invincible is just the best word that you put in there, and then they cut, or this is, you know, and you know that it's coming, but it always catches me by surprise. It's like, okay, oh, they're gonna put the thing up there, and like Jeffrey said,
it's the cold open.
There's more blood every episode.
There's more blood every episode.
It's every episode.
It is silly, and he homages to every comic book. This one gives you the homage to the Watchmen and Saturday Night Live Cold Open, because he's always about to say, yeah, it's something that can't be defeated, never loses, it's it. And then they show the logo and splash some blood on it. It's the cold open.
It's not just gratuitous, it actually is a central part of the story. It's actually a central symbol in terms of why the team is doing what they're doing. You know, so it's you know, yeah.
Before we do spoilers,
it's just clever.
Good.
Before we do spoilers, I like to explain like one of my favorite episodes, like when things happen. So, unfortunately, now I watched Invincible. I was hearing about Invincible. I was like, okay, I'm mainly into like Marvel heroes and DC heroes, my Avengers, my Justice Leagues, and all that. And then Duran, my friend Duran, was like, you should go watch the show. It's really great. And I'm like, okay. I'm glad I did. So yeah, I loved it. I said, Dad, you should watch Invincible. It's really great. I'm like, we got to watch the first episode. I believe that the ending got you completely off guard. That was just crazy. But so my dad watched it after me, so probably has a bit more of a memory of it than me. And I see a lot of stuff on YouTube, a lot of clips on YouTube. I haven't been seeing watching a lot of Invincible clips, so I don't remember a lot of the characters' names, so I could use another rewatch. But this is 8 episodes. But this is like one episode that I think is really good. May or may not be my favorite, but there's one episode where one of the characters is like a villain, but only because they need like money to like feed the house or something like that. I think that was the theme of it. Mm-hmm. So basically, this one's spoiler. So Invincible is being taught that, oh, we just gotta fight aliens and all that and outer world threats. And he's like, you should stop, not just pay attention. Oh, that's can't be seen. the step up there, pay attention to what's going down on Earth, you know? So pay attention to what's going down in the streets. Like, there's the villains that need to be taken down, but Mark is being taught like, oh, like you're above that, you know? So it's like a interesting thing where it's like you don't have to just be an Avenger. You can be like a friendly neighborhood Mark Grayson, you know?
Right.
I
Right.
like that episode.
Right. No, that's good. That's good. Yeah. In 8 episodes, and you know me, I'm a guy who complains about series being as short as they are these days. It's ridiculous. 8 is the new 22. Yet and still, yeah, 8 is the new 22. I was like, really, y'all hardly working. But this series does a really nice job with the 8 that it has. No question about it. Yeah, the 8 episodes you receive in this are it covers a lot of ground. We're talking about them right now. It covers a lot of ground. It hits you hard. It hits a lot of comic book lore. If you're into certain genres, if you're into vampirism genres, and you're into westerns, and you're into science fiction genres, and you're into fantasy genres with dragons, whatever. This one's like, no, it's all about comic books. We're going to cover every single thing that you thought you liked, everything you enjoyed. We're going to give you characters that look just like the characters you like, and then we're going to spin them on their heads. And then we're going to give you some characters that you wish you'd seen before, plus introduce a bunch of brand new characters that you're just enjoying because they're cool like that.
Like Robot.
It's just fun. And then they do some things that are just grown folk, jokes and humor for adults and not children. They put it all in there, and in that sense, it's an excellent show. Am I still on 3? You're gonna move me up to 3? Maybe move me to 3 and a half.
You're convincing.
But I also think another thing to add is the interplay between the different characters and the different superheroes. When they basically have to come up with a new Guardians of the Globe, and you're giving them different characters. Now, the Robot was really interesting character because he develops a sort of like you notice that he has an interesting fascination with Monster Girl, and the reason why he does is really interesting, and a lot of stuff that he does, which is actually unethical.
Yes.
So that he, so that he can, just sort of in a way, try to become a little, more connected to her. You have the teenage thriller, against some of the teenage angst going on. You have Adam Eve who breaks up with Rex Claude because he's he's playing around with the character. Yeah, he's a complete a-hole, and she in essence is going on the similar journey that Jeffrey described that the character introduced Mark to, in terms of not being concerned not with just the big things but with the smaller things. So she has to go on her own little journey,
right? Or other kinds of ways of being heroic. So yeah. So Mark was being told, why are you doing just all these epic hero stuff when there's friendly neighborhood stuff that should be handled? There's local things that need to be handled. And she's talking about, why are we doing things where we're punching things with their fists when I have the ability to create and change weather and solve problems in people's lives? I can do that on a big scale, but they're not all punching and shooting lasers things. I can build dams, and I can irrigate fields, and and I can stop a forest fire, and all you guys are thinking about is where's the next kaiju to save. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, there's even a kaiju in the series.
And everybody is moving. The government agency that is keeping an eye on everything, that's helping superheroes. They're trying to figure things out. They also have to be proactive in terms of what their next step is going to be. We have they get a demon to work as a detective, and there's a lot of interesting ideas in terms of why they did that. And you know, to me, this is just really just incredibly just well integrated in a bunch of, you know, just a lot of moving parts that when you look back at it, just completely makes sense to me in terms of the story.
It's awesome. The demon character you said I throw out there, they give us a demon Watchman Rorschach character. Right? He is Rorschach, but they haven't played as a demon. They don't give him a big hand, so he's not what's that guy called? The
Hellboy.
So he's not Hellboy. So they give us
not Hellboy. Yeah.
But they give us a Hellboy Rorschach character all combined into one. I mean, this is a very sophisticated a series that's like, you know, there's nobody out there in the audience who loves comics more than us type show. If you're watching this, they are. Did they miss a character? Did they miss a comic book character that's ever been done? I mean, they did everything but someone have blades come out. Shing. We almost. I mean, you kind of. Maybe they miss. Maybe Wolverine comes in season 2, because did they miss a character that is beloved that's out there? They've covered them all. Like I said, Hellboy, who's Rorschach. I mean, just, you know, deep cuts. There's some serious deep comic book cuts in here that they go one way with you and they say, okay, I'm gonna get your attention by giving you a character that's like the one that you like, and then I'm going to use them in a different way in this story.
Yeah, but they're very much their own characters too, though. I mean, just, you know, I mean, we recognize that, you know, the Justice League War Woman was sort of like Wonder Woman, okay, but she was her own thing. Green Ghost was sort of like supposed to be like another, you know, another version, I guess, to remind us of Green Lantern, completely different thing. Martian Manhunter was almost like Martian Manhunter. Red Rush was the, you know, like the, you know,
Flash.
The Flash. So everything, but I completely bought them. I said, this looks familiar, but they were definitely their own characters. It wasn't like this is a generic knockoff version. This wasn't like got Transformers
because they had the combinations of pieces. Because the one who acted like Martian Manhunter was also Kitty Pryde from the X-Men, and the way that the characters kind of was merged or together, the way they had her behaving. They're just like, no, I'm just showing you that I've read every single one of these things, and I put in the stuff that you like, and now I'm going to give you my story.
And the Aquaman character is actually a fish-like thing, which is like, okay, we're not going to go with Jason Momoa, you know, we're going to go with something that actually
is a fish.
It's actually a fish. Go ahead, Jeffrey. You're about to say something.
Yeah, that's one thing that I say I like about it. It shows creative. Now, there is nothing wrong in, I'll definitely say this because I'm a big Marvel and DC fan, but there's nothing wrong with going to stuff like that. But I really like this because it's an original take. I don't know, though it is based on comic books, but I haven't read them. I don't know what to expect. I don't know any of these characters going in. You have a bunch of characters that I like that are like different from people in the comics. Like Adam Eve is actually, I think, my favorite character in the show besides Mark. And then that's spoilers.
That's all right.
Oh, in the spoiler section?
No, well, don't drop a spoiler yet.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do a spoiler.
All right, but yeah. But overall, I just like a lot of characters in this show. It manages to be funny, serious, beat the crap out of you, murk you to pulp.
Yeah, brutal
at the same time. I have no idea how it doesn't. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's funny. It's I will really like, on another note, to either do a video of my ranking my favorite shows overall, or the favorite shows that I just finished in the 2020 to 2021 period, or my favorite superhero shows. Because doing that, Invincible is going far up, I'm going to be honest. And it's surprising to me because it's not Superman. It's not Wolverine, Hulk. It's not Batman. It's completely new people, but I just love it. And I'm glad they said they're going to make more seasons. So I'm excited for that.
Same here. I'll bring us close to closing out with our closeout statement, saying that I'm excited for what's coming next. They give you a full season 1 and then drop at least, you know, all you need is 1 or 2 notes, but they drop at least 3 notes of things that are going to have to carry forward, right? Things that need to be resolved things that were dropped brand new on you, like, okay, we got a whole new set of threats or challenges to our hero going forward that he's going to have to deal with in future storylines. And so they've set themselves up for, not only because it was such an awesome opening season, but they set themselves up some really nice storylines to go forward. We mentioned the ethically and maybe morally suspect robot character who falls for Monster Girl, and we come to find out that, I just want to throw this in there, that Monster Girl's character is a Hulk type character, but the twist is every time Monster Girl turns into a monster, she gets younger. So she's like, I'm not 12 years old. She said, what? She said, I'm 29 years old. Every time I turn into this monster, I get younger. So,
I would just stop being a superhero at that point. I'll be done.
She's like,
I'm not being a superhero.
Being a superhero is a high risk thing for me. So this character is a Benjamin Button's Hulk. Okay, the more the angrier I get, the stronger I get, the younger I get.
It's time for retirement. It's time for retirement. There is no way you can keep doing that. Eventually, you're gonna get a bit too young, and then
they're gonna like slap the baby. We need the monster back. Wake the baby up.
Oh, gosh.
Wake the baby up. We need the monster out.
It's time to retire now. Don't come back for season 2.
She's like, I'm retiring for another 30 years so I can charge up and come back, right? Who knows? All these characters are unique. Some in crazy, some in freaky, some in X-rated ways.
But also another thing, like you said, they're setting things up for next season, but nothing's discarded, because just when you saw an episode and you're like, I'm not going to see that craziness again. Oh no, it came back.
it comes back, and has every reason.
That crazy villain from the college.
Yeah,
that stuff came back, dude. I was like, that was so weird.
Also, we're about to get in the spoiler section because I have a Easter egg that I made. I don't know if you guys saw this or pointed it out, but it's kind of crazy. But I don't want to say it for the no spoiler section,
Okay, but it's another Easter egg that's pulling you into season 2.
It's not doing anything for season 2, but it's something that happened behind the scenes. I'm like, this character is acting a little funny. This is not how that's supposed to go.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Claude, do you want to have the last word before we close out?
You know what? No, just basically, just to repeat what I said. I just think that anyone who likes comics, I think is going to enjoy the show. The creator obviously loves comics. The talent behind it, they love comic books too. And the show completely just the way it continues to follow the fun in terms of realizing we have an audience that loves comics, and we're going to come up with something. Compared to a lot of stories where you're taking somebody going through the hero's journey, this one is fascinating because of the fact that it's about a comic book character, and they take all these different turns, and again, really being playful with everything, and turning things on their head in a cool way where I don't feel like I got cheated, So I have to say.
Yeah, I feel that this show definitely surprised me at many different levels. So actually, I'm actually gonna say the Easter egg, but it's like not really a spoiler, but it's kind of like, why is he doing that? So when an episode I talked to you about where Mark is handling the things on Earth, not just acting like a god,
Mm-hmm.
He gets his butt handed to him. I'm like, how you got like Superman like powers and you get handled this bad? He got. I'm actually. One of my friends said this, and I'm kind of stealing this joke. So this a joke from my friend Duran, but they said as much as they call this dude Invincible, he seems to have the best relationship in the show is when he's with the hospital bed. This character is so overpowered, but he still gets the hospital bed many times throughout the show. It's just crazy. I'm just like, whoa. Like, but here's the thing. Here's the crazy part. He was getting beat the crap up. And then the camera's focusing, and then you see a cape, and you see someone just watching, but you don't see who it is. But if you can see the costume, you could tell who it is. I'm like, that's Omni-Man. That is Omni-Man watching Mark. Literally not like, he just like, huh, my son's getting beat the crap up. Sounds like fun, you know. Sounds like a good family entertainment. You know, like this. Well, we can't have too much plot armor in the show, so I'm not gonna go help him.
Yeah, you're right. Because sometimes that's the way some parents are. Sometimes they're like, "You're not gonna listen to me. I'm gonna let reality teach you." Yeah, you know. But yes, you know what? I know. Yeah, I noticed that too. That was.
Yeah, but this reality was he almost died. I was like, whoa! And then I'm like, you just stood there. You didn't do anything.
Yeah, it's very raw. It's another example of how raw the show is.
Did you both notice that?
I think I did, yeah. And
I did, yeah.
And I was like you, I was wondering, I wonder if they're gonna address that, if they're gonna leave it just like that.
They just left it.
They left it just like that.
Well, I think the fact he did nothing, they did deal with it. That fit into what was gonna happen later on.
Right. It was foreshadowing for the future. Yep.
Yeah.
Basically, he was just like, "Hey, my son, he's like, hey, you have fun. You have fun."
Yeah.
I was watching you getting beat the crap up, but that was a pretty. He was treating it like he was watching a boxing match. You're like, you know what? I don't care about the people in this. I'm just here for it.
It's a brutal show. It's brutal. It's Invincible. It's a Amazon Prime series. The full series is streaming now and has been streamed on Amazon Prime. If you already saw it, put some comments down. Let's hear what you think about it. If you haven't seen it yet, you've heard the reviews from the movie review man, Claude with 4. I give it 3. Our very special guest, Jeffrey II, gave it 3.5. Let us know what you think. Share your comments below. Check out King JJ's YouTube channel. Thanks again for being on the show.
I'll keep a link in the description.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the description. And we'll see you all next time. Bye now.